Good day, guys. Today we are coming to learn how to cut a perfect and fitted trousers. So now we will fold our fabric or material into two. After folding it into two, we will mark out a very straight horizontal line and a very straight vertical line, which is going to guide us get a very nice and decent cutting. After marking it out, we are coming to work with our measurements. Before working with our measurements, we need to get the thigh line, the hip line, the knee circumference, which is very important, and the baseline. So here, our thigh line, you divide the hip measurement, which is 40 into 4. 40 divided by 4 will give us 10 inches. And then the knee measurement, which is the next one, we will divide our length into 2, and then our actual length, as you can see, plus our hemming allowance. I always add 2 inches for my hemming allowance. And in order to get a very perfect and straight corporate trousers, you need to add an allowance. You need to add a measurement of 6 inches from the actual length upwards. So as you can see, there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will be getting 6 lines to be working on: the seat line, the thigh line, the knee line, the base line, and the straight line. So after getting all these lines, we will come up from the thigh line 2.5 inches. That is our hip line, the seat line, and rule a straight line. After marking out our straight line, we will be working with the thigh circumference. We will divide the thigh circumference into 2. Our thigh was 25, so 25 divided by 2 will give us 12.5 or 12.5. After getting the 12.5 on the waistline, sorry that part couldn't come in, we will mark inside 1/2 inch, because that place needs to be curvy, and put on our waist measurement. Our waist measurement was 33, so 33 divided by 2 plus an allowance of 1 inch, which is the place will be for the flap side and for the joining of the back side. Note, always add 1 inch to the waist measurement. After getting that measurement, you put the same measurement over the, I got 10.25, so I'll put the same 10.25 on the thigh line and mark it out, and also add 1/2 inches. After adding it up, I will draw a straight line to the waist line, as you can see, like this. After it, I will drop on the waistline 1 inch, which is very constant, and mark it out. And always mark it out. That place is a very constant place. You will drop 1 inch down and mark it out. And then for the crotch curve, you can choose to divide it like this and mark out your curve, or with your tools you can put it there and draw your curve, as always, as how you want to do it. That's how it's done. So here's the complicated part, and we are almost done. So in order to get the knee line and the rest, you divide your thigh measurement into 2. Our thigh measurement was 25 divided by 2, which was 12.5, and 12.5 we divided into 2, which was 6.25. So we will remove 1/2 inches from it, and then mark it out 6 inches. 6 inches on the knee line, 6 inches on the actual length, 6 inches on the baseline, and straight 6 inches from the straight line. After marking it out, we will connect all lines together. So that is where we will be coming to put on inside our measurements. Here is where we are coming to put our measurement. As you can see, very nice and decent work. So over here, our knee line, our actual length, and our baseline, as you can see. So over here, our knee circumference was 18. We will divide it into 4. 18 divided by 4, which will give us 1.5. 4.5. Sorry guys, 4.5. So you mark 4.5 here, and then you mark 4.5 at the other side. Now we are going to the baseline. The baseline, where my hand is. So here, then base circumference was 14.5. 14.5. So we divide into 4 and give us 3.75, and we mark our 3.75 over here. We mark our 3.75 over here, and on the baseline too, you mark our 3.75 there and 3.75 also there. After marking it out nicely, our trousers is coming to life. As you can see, you join both lines together. As you can see, this is the measurement for cutting a perfect and nice corporate trousers, which will stand out very nicely. Watch out for the sewing part. When I'm about to sew it, I will drop the tutorial. So you see how it is done. Very simple and very nice. You join the hip line to the knee circumference, and then the half inches from the waistline, you curve it to the hip line, so that you always get a very curvy trousers. As you can see over there, guys, very nice and decent. After this, it's time to cut it out. Very nice. So you begin cutting it out. That's all for the front part. So after cutting it out, you fold your material or fabric into two again. You fold it into two, as you can see. Very nice, very decent. That's it for a corporate trousers. This is the procedure, a new procedure I developed by myself for the corporate trousers. So after folding it into two, you lay your front part. Make sure the lines are very straight at the end. The lines there is no shortage in the lines. It all needs to align very perfectly, and drop it there, as you can see. So after dropping it, you mark out each lines. You trace each lines so that when putting in the measurements, there will be no mistake. You trace out these lines very nice and perfectly. Please subscribe for me for everyday tutorial. Tutorial will be dropping twice each and every week. So after marking out these lines, on top of the waistline, you go up by 2 inches. On top of the waistline, sorry guys, my table is too small for the measurements. On top of the waistline, you go up. As you can see, you come up by 2 inches, which is very constant. It's a very constant number. And then join those lines together. You join those lines together very nicely. After joining those lines together, you come inside by half an inch, and then start with your waist measurements. So our waist measurement 33 divided by 4 to 8 1/4. So our 8 1/4, you divide it into 2 for the dart. Note that place very well for the dart. After the dart, you add your dart measurement, half inches, and then add your back allowance. I always add 1.5 inches, and on your hip line, you add 1.5 inches to the hip line, and on your thigh line, you add an allowance of 3.5 inches. On your knee line, you add an allowance of 2.5 inches, and on your main length, you add an allowance of 2.5. Sorry, that part couldn't come in. You add an allowance of 2.5 inches. So after the 2.5 inches, you just join all the lines together for it to align very perfectly. You join all those lines together for it to align very perfectly. You see, so as you can see here, as I am joining it. So after joining those lines together, I will join the hip measurement where I mark out my allowance over here. I will join my allowance from the hip measurement to the back measurement. I will join them together and rule out a curve. From that place to the hip to the thigh line. I'll rule out the curve from the waist thigh measurement to the hip measurement. That's all. As you can see over there, very nicely done, very neatly done. That's it for a corporate trousers. So as you can see, our 2.5 I'm checking out my measurement if they are all accurate. If they are all accurate for a very perfect and fitted trousers. After checking all those lines, then you begin to cut. You cut it out. So please subscribe, kindly stay tuned, and thanks for watching very perfectly.